Ladies and gentlemen, we have major breaking news. 2020 is not over. For a few years now, I've been saying, don't give up hope. Do not surrender. 2020 must be fixed, and everybody involved with it needs to be held accountable. I was mocked at. I was laughed at. But one thing I never gave up was hope. And today, my hope was reaffirmed by Donald Trump. We can't move forward unless we fix what happened before so that it never happens again. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as you're in, smash that thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. Where are you tuning in from? We're getting right into this. Breaking: Trump to revoke Chris Krebs security clearance, orders DOJ investigation into role in the stolen 2020 election. Before we continue, just a reminder, who is Chris Krebs? Well, this is the same guy that was actually in charge of the federal side of the 2020 election. And then after the election, he went on a countrywide media tour telling everybody how safe and secure everything was. Here's a little clip.
It's completely and utterly surreal. None of these lies have been substantiated to any extent. Every single one of them has been debunked.
Chris Krebs was director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, charged with protecting the 2020 election. He called it the most secure election in American history, and days later was fired by President Trump.
How secure was the 2020 election? Let me put it this way. It was the most litigated. It was the most scrutinized. It was the most audited. This election was put through the ringer from so many different directions. There's no evidence that any machine that I'm aware of has been manipulated by a foreign power.
So now you know who this guy is. Now you know who he is. Well, Trump fired him. And today, Trump revoked his security clearance. And, you know, he secured, here's the video of that.
Terrible guy.
Similarly, sir, Christopher Krebs, the former head of CISA. This is a man who weaponized his position against free speech in the election context, in the context of COVID-19. This is it's a similar presidential memorandum to the one you just signed. It addresses his access to government, existing clearances he might have, and further instructs your Department of Justice, other aspects of your government, to investigate some of the malign acts that he participated in while he was still head of CISA.
This is another one. I don't know that I met him. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't know him. And he came out right after the election, which was a rigged election, a badly rigged election. We did phenomenally in that election. Look what happened to our country because of it. Open borders, millions of people coming into our country. Russia and Ukraine, that would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. Afghanistan, the way they withdrew with 13 dead, but so many killed, actually. I mean, so many killed outside of the 13 soldiers, hundreds of people killed. And maybe, I don't know, never mentioned, but I mentioned it, 42 or 43 people so badly injured.
So you get who this guy is, right? He was in charge of running the election from the federal side. And then when 2020 happened, he was the loudest voice, you know, saying nothing bad happened. He was actually working with social media platforms to deplatform people, excuse me, that were questioning anything. And then they used COVID as a pretense. I mean, it goes on and on. But ladies and gentlemen, so he signed it. But there's something very interesting that happened. While Trump was signing that, the governor of Michigan, the far left extremist, super liberal governor of Michigan, was standing right behind the media as Trump was signing this and ordering his DOJ to investigate this guy. I don't know what to say about her being there. I know there's a full investigation into 2020, 2022, and 2024 of illegal aliens voting in Michigan. I covered this last week. There's a huge investigation going on there. So maybe she's there and Trump was like, you better tell me what I need to hear or you're going to have a very, very bad future. I don't know. We can only speculate, but I'm just putting two and two together. So ladies and gentlemen, what is happening? Trump understands that in order for the country to move forward, 2020 has to be fixed. People have to be held accountable. We need to know the truth. We need to know the truth about the machines, about COVID, about the lockdowns, about the mail-in ballots. We need everything. Who financed it? Who was behind it? Who was the voice? Whose idea? All of that. Who in the government knew? Everything needs to be brought out into the light so that we can move forward as a nation and to make sure we have secure elections for the rest of the times. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I appreciate each and every single one of you who has been with me from the very beginning. As you all know, it was that election that got me to start social media, to start covering news and getting politically involved. So they thought they were going to silence MAGA, but what they did was they woke up a giant, because besides me, there's millions more who, because of that election, are now making their voices heard, are getting involved, and understand how important it is to save our nation. God bless you. Have a good evening. I'll see you soon.